Hey guys, Amy Curtis here, and today I wanted to talk to you about the flow. I'm sure this is a term a lot of you have heard um, that generally refers to, just kind of being in sync with the universe where things just sort of effortlessly and naturally flow in a very easy way. I mean, that's where that word ease comes from. It's just easy. It just happens and everything falls into place and it seems like, the whole world is just unfolding before you. I wanted to talk about this topic because obviously there are times when all of us are not in the flow. And I had an experience today that I wanted to share with you as just sort of an example of how much control we really have over the things that are happening to us and in our responses to them. So just to give you a little context, in the last couple of weeks, since I've been doing the Thoughts to Things program, which I referenced in another video, I really have felt like I've been in the flow where things have just kind of been like falling into place very organically and easily in certain areas of my life, so that's great. Since this weekend, I've been having what I can only describe as kind of bad energy between me and a dear friend of mine, and that has definitely affected some things. Not everything though, because things have still been flowing, and that's great. That it's just an aspect, that I've been able to let go of because it's really mostly not about me. Today I had a great example of not being in the flow or being out of the flow. And I would describe that as many of you probably heard of or are quite familiar with Murphy's Law, which is that everything that can go wrong will go wrong. And I remember back when I used to commute very long two ways, each way to and from work on a very busy highway in rush hour traffic with a huge truck that was almost like a boat. I remember during that situation feeling like Murphy's Law was just kind of like the norm, like, and it happens to a lot of us when we're running late, then that's when, you spill your coffee all over yourself and have to change, and then, all these other things happen, and it's just like one thing after another. That's like a Murphy's Law day. And I used to have these sometimes and would even talk to my colleagues about them, and I must say I very, very rarely have them anymore. I can't even remember the last time, but today it kind of felt like I was, so I want to describe that to you and sort of how I consciously chose to change my thought process about it and how that shifted the energy. It's really kind of fascinating because this just happened today. So here's some background on what's going on, just so you can understand what's happening. So I've referenced in other videos that I've, for a couple years now, had a skin condition, and it used to be really, really, really bad. For the most part, it's healing or mostly healed. Like, compared to where I used to be, it is so much better. I used to be in constant pain. I'm almost never in pain now. It used to be even more embarrassing and hard to cover up. And now it's, every now and then I might get a flare-up if I'm under stress, or maybe I'm not eating super great or whatever. Like, there are certain triggers that I'm, trying to track and sort out. But for the most part, it's so much better. I mean, I might have a flare-up from time to time, but for the most part, it is night and day better to what it used to be. However, since there are times when it does flare up, and since I still have some, I guess I would call it light scarring from what happened before, I do need to wear makeup, and because it used to be on my face, that's something that I still have to do. I'm really looking forward to eventually not having to wear makeup anymore, because I used to have a very beautiful, clear complexion, and I'm really excited about getting that back. But for now, for the meantime, if I want to feel confident and like beautiful and, feel like myself when I'm out in public, I feel the need to wear makeup to cover it, if nothing else. I mean, it's really, for me, it makes me feel better, and makes me feel beautiful, which I am. But also, for other people too, almost as a courtesy, I don't want to freak people out or have people worry about me when I'm fine because I'm not in pain anymore. And without the makeup, sometimes it looks worse than it really is. Um, so anyway, so that's kind of a backstory. And yesterday, so with this issue, with this condition, at least for now, makeup is really important. And yesterday, I discovered that I was completely and totally out. I had just recently ordered some to be sent to me from the States by my mom, but it's on its way and it hasn't arrived yet. And I could have sworn I had one more container of it to last me on the in-between times. But then yesterday when I was running low on my current container and I realized that it was almost empty, I searched and searched and searched and could not find the other container that I thought I had. So I was completely and totally out of makeup as of this morning. So last night I got online and found an organic shop where I could actually order online to purchase something just to tide me over until the stuff that I like, that I know works for me and feels good and doesn't irritate my skin, all of that, while I'm waiting for it to arrive. So I ordered it. I chose in-store pickup because I wanted to get it as fast as possible. I went to go pick it up at a store that's near me. It's very close. I had gotten the confirmation that it had been delivered and all of that. Okay, this is where the out of flow experience started. So I was actually in a great mood when I left the house. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna get my grocery shopping done. I have all these things that need to get done. I'm gonna do this first and this and this. And when I left the house, I felt I was still in the flow. And then when I got to the store, the first thing that happened, so I'm just waiting at the counter, smiling, looking around, exchanging casual positive energy with the other customers in the store while I'm standing and waiting. And as I'm waiting and patiently waiting my turn and making eye contact with the people behind the counter, because they're all speaking the local language, and they mostly speak English, but I'm just kind of politely waiting my turn. And then this woman, at the time, okay, I'm not proud of this, but at the time I was like, this bitch cut right in front of me. I had clearly been waiting, and she cut in front of me and went first and did her transaction. And the people behind the counter who saw me waiting there didn't say a word about it. They just served her. And I'm like, hello, excuse me, I'm here. Because of the language barrier, and I just didn't want to make a scene, I just gave her, what you do when something like that happens and you're pissed off. I just kind of gave her that, angry dagger. I was like, what the fuck? That's not cool. Hey. But then I also, in the moment, stopped and realized, I was like, I can keep being mad about this and stand here and fume about it while there are people around me watching me fume. But, she may not even be receiving my anger, so it's really not doing anything for me. So I might as well just let it go because it's only hurting me. So, I'm thinking these things in my head as I'm standing, and so then I'm, okay, trying to let it go. But when I do get up to the counter and talk to the person behind, I'm trying to get my internet order, and she's looking, can't find it, keeps looking. I explained, how I ordered it and the confirmation and showed it to her and everything. And she couldn't find it. It wasn't anywhere. So she called the other store because she saw, yes, it was supposed to be delivered here. You're not in the wrong place, because I considered that. I was like, is this the right address? Is this where we are? And I was in the right place, so it was not my mistake, which was the first thing I rolled out, because we all make mistakes. I could have too. But it was their mistake. It wasn't there. It had been sent to a different branch, okay? So a different store, same franchise, but different location. And so she said it's, if I'm not in a hurry, I could wait and they would deliver it tomorrow. Or it was very close, actually, just a 10-minute walk away. So so I was like, okay, that's fine. It's urgent. I'll just go get it. Because, of course, it's urgent to me. The whole point was I'm out. The next time I wash my face or exfoliate and take off, any dead skin that I have nothing else to put on the next time I leave the house. And I don't want to feel like I'm, like a hermit in my own house, like where I have to stay in, like, don't look at me, I'm hideous. Um, so obviously it was urgent, so I'm like, that's fine, I'll just go get it. But there were some items I had found that I wanted to purchase. And she was, she apologized, even though it was my turn, I'd already waited in line. There was only one computer for them to do transactions, and there was a line. By that point, a huge line had formed, like a queue, and she was basically telling me, if you want to purchase these things, you have to go to the back of the line. I'm like, I'm already here. I've been here the whole time. But anyway, so I'm just like, okay. So I was like, fine, I'll go spend my money at the other store. That's fine. I won't spend any money here. But because of all this like kind of negativity and negative energy, I also, like, as I was trying to leave, some things got knocked over and I put them back. But I go outside. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get this stuff, get my shopping done. It's gonna be fine. And then so I start walking. I have, my Google Maps. I start walking. I know where I'm going. But in the city where I live now, well, because it's summer, there's construction everywhere. And this particular direction, you used to be able to just cross the street, but now there are these, partitions that are guiding people, through a maze, basically, directing people away from the construction areas. So you sometimes have to go, several blocks down just to get around because there's a barrier. If you take a wrong turn, you might get stuck in the human maze for a bit until you find your way out of it. And so I came across this construction and I'm like, oh, okay, which way do I go? I need to cross the street, but which way? Going toward the right or to the left? Because I couldn't go straight. I was like, which way is going to let me go straight faster? So I just took a wild guess and went I went to the left. And after going to the left for a while and going round, and then seeing that all I could do was go in one direction and I couldn't cross for at least a block, instead of continuing on that way, because I was still running that thing in my head from the store before, like, that fucking bitch cut in front of me and like ruined. She also kind of had a not great energy, which I sort of felt immediately when that happened. And at the time I was trying to be, who knows what she's going through, whatever. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. She'll go and then I'll go. It's not like the end of the world. But by then, like, there was this like energy cascade of just crap. And so now I'm stuck. I'm back to the point. I'm stuck in this maze. And I'm like, you know what? I stopped myself, and instead of continuing on and just getting mad that I have to go another several blocks to even get over and then backtrack, I just was like, you know what? Stop. So I stopped myself and turned around and went the other way. So instead of continuing on this same negative path, like a literal path, but also a metaphorical path in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm going to stop. I decided I'm going to turn around, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go the other direction, not just literally in the maze, which I know was the right way, I should have gone in the first place, but also mentally. Because I knew, I was wearing sandals at the time, and, I'm in a construction zone, there are all these blocks, and it's very narrow, and lots of people, and I was like, continuing forward in this mood with this energy is the perfect way for me to, like, stub my toe on a cinder block and, like, really hurt myself or trip or something. So I was like, no, stop, I'm going to wait, I'm going to back it up, mentally and physically. So I went back, went the other way, which was the correct way, was able to cross the street and get to my destination, no problem. But as I was doing that, as I was turning around, I started tapping to release, this, what had just happened. Like, even though this bitch cut in front of me in line, it really pissed me off. It's okay. I love myself anyway, and it's okay, and everything's fine. So I started tapping just on my karate chop point. Because I was in public, I didn't do a full round of tapping. I didn't do all the points. I was walking, and I was just tapping on my hands while I was walking, and to anyone else, it just looked like I was walking. Like, nobody even noticed. So I was doing that. Another trick that I've used before that I was doing while I was walking is there are also points on your fingers. In the end of each finger, kind of at the base, the base of your nail. So if you just like squeeze the top, on each side, squeeze your fingers, and with the thumb too, you can do it on either hand. And so sometimes if I'm feeling stressed, I'll just do that. So I was doing that as I was walking. And then I was also tapping just on my karate chop point as I was walking, and I was rethinking through everything that just happened. Even though this thing happened, and this thing happened, and this thing happened, because it just seemed like a cascade of things. It was like, what else bad is going to happen next? So instead of doing that, I kind of tapped it out, reset everything. When I turned around, reset everything. And then from that moment on, as I was walking, instead of seeing grumpy, angry faces on the street as I'm walking on my way to the other location, I look up and I'm like, well, it's not sunny, but it's a temperate day, and God forbid I have a 10-minute detour and be forced to take a walk in a lovely neighborhood down a street that I almost never walk down. So it's in a neighborhood that's near me, but it's kind of new to me because I don't tend to go in that particular area, those blocks. So I was actually really enjoying the walk, and then I started seeing things like when I turned a corner and I saw a little dog, and I'm like, oh, happy again. And then I see an old lady who is so excited by the dog, she like leans down and starts like cooing with it and petting with it and interacting with it. And I was just like, oh, that's adorable. I'm so glad I saw that. And then I keep walking, and then I see a little girl who is also wearing pigtails. So I made eye contact with her and got some positive energy and smiles from her. Just, all all positive interactions with the strangers I was encountering instead of negative ones. And so that all felt so much better. I make it to the second location. And when I get to the second location, they have my stuff. It's fine. I also wanted to get some tea that I wasn't able to get at the previous location. So I was reaching up to get some tea that was on the top counter. And as I was reaching for it, an open container of matcha, I don't know if you know what that is, it's like a powdered green tea, I actually drink it every day, I love it, was like left out on the counter. I don't know if it was an accident or intentional or just whatever, but it had been left out on the counter. And so when I went to reach up for it, it fell over and spilled all over me, on my shirt, on my shorts, was just everywhere. And after all of the cascade of crap from before, it was so fascinating because I had just tapped and I had kind of reset myself, and it didn't bother me at all. I was like, I just started laughing. I was like, oh, that's funny. I guess there's still a little bit of negative energy left from that previous altercation, but okay, it's gone now, so whatever. It really didn't bother me. So, I'm trying to clean it up, but I buy my stuff, I leave, and every interaction that I had on the way home was also positive. One of my favorite things about living abroad is people watching. I like to do that at home too, but when I'm in a different country, whether I'm traveling or living abroad, I really enjoy watching people and comparing and contrasting the way people behave and the ways people behave in different places. That fascinates me, and it's really interesting to me how people tend to, culturally and what they eat, how they interact with each other, their language, all of those things. And that's one thing I love about living here is that there are a lot of friendly people. And on my walk home, I just saw that everywhere. I saw people loving each other, and I saw people being kind to strangers, and I saw people smiling, and I saw an older gentleman who just was beaming pure joy, and I was just like, oh, that's so great. And so I often do that when I go to the park. I'll watch families and exchange energy with total strangers, and it improves both of our day. We both get a smile on our face and continue on and hopefully spread that joy to other people, and it's great, and I love that about this place. And that happened on my walk home. So I just thought that was such a great example of how if you can just stop and think a minute and reset, you can literally change your thought process. Instead of going down this negative road, which I was clearly going down, I'm going to make a different choice, back it up, choose this positive road instead, and then the whole rest of my afternoon just just fell back into place, and there I was, and I just thought that was so beautiful. And I wanted to share that with all of you because this just happened to me. And actually, on the way back, I thought, you know what? Maybe that'll happen to me so that I would be inspired to make a video about it. Because why not? I mean, and here I am doing that for you. So I hope you take all of that into account the next time you're having a bad day or you're kind of finding yourself out of the flow or in a shitty, crappy flow that you want to get out of. Because that happened to me today, and I successfully backed up out of it and ended up having a pretty great afternoon. Despite that, the negative vibes did not last very long because I chose not to allow them to. So yay! I just thought that was so great. I wanted to share that with you, and I hope that helps some of you and that you are finding your flow. So on that note, I'm gonna go work out. So I will see you guys later. Until next time, bye.